Hello guys, Blender Master here with another Blender tutorial. Today we're just gonna be making a isometric room. I don't know if you've ever heard about that, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So what you're gonna do is just click off this splash screen and just select everything. Hold on, let me turn on my screencast keys here. So we're just going to select everything with our left mouse button and press X to delete. And if you don't know, to move, you just use the middle mouse button and shift middle mouse button to grab yourself around. You can also use this right here, this tool right here, to move, and this tool right here to move your view if you have like a trackpad or something. So now that we have everything deleted, we're actually going to press Shift A to go to this menu, and there's a lot of options here, but we're going to go to mesh, then cube to add a cube. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scale this down a bit, and we're going to press, and to scale you press S, and you're going to press and Shift Z to lock it on only these two axes, I don't know what you call them, and just make it a little bit bigger. Now there's something called edit mode, and to go into edit mode you press tab, and that'll show up with all these vertices here. And I like to normally just use edge select, so that's up here. You have vertice, edge, and face. I like to just use edge most of the time. And what we're gonna do, because we want to make walls on these sides here. In order to do that, we're going to make some things called loop cuts. And to make a loop cut, you can press this right here, or you can press Control R, and that'll give you these things. So we're just going to go here and make a loop cut however thick you want your walls to be. Just do that. We're going to press Control R again, do it this way, and that's good. Now we're just going to select these three and press E to extrude upward till we have a nice little square room. That looks pretty good. So next thing we're going to do is start on our loft bed. So we're going to press tab to go out of edit mode, and Shift A, mesh, and another cube. Now I think what we should do here is we're just going to start with something like this. Oh, and I guess I haven't been telling you this. When you're like scaling something, you can press the middle mouse button to lock it on a certain axis. So if I was scaling it this way, I'd press the middle mouse button and kind of drag this little white line you can see right there to be on one of the axes. And we're just going to scale that to be a little bit smaller, and then a little bit wider. You can pause the video if I'm going too fast here until we have a good height here. And it's okay if it kind of like intersects with that right there. But we want it to be, it's going to be the bed, so it's going to be probably up here. And that looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is press Shift A, add another cube, and this is going to be our post. So we're going to scale it down and then scale it up only on the Z axis. We're going to press G to move it up and scale it down a bit. Move it down. Again, it's kind of like intersecting right there, which is fine. That's okay. And boom, right there. And now we want to duplicate this. So in order to duplicate, you press Shift D. It'll kind of give you this right here, but we want to lock it right on the X axis. Now you can do it this way, or you could also press X. You can press X, Y, and Z. So we're going to press X, lock it right here, and that should be good. We're gonna press Shift and left mouse button to grab both of these, and we're gonna move them back a little bit. Alright, perfect. That should be a good bed for now. Now we're actually gonna duplicate this. We're gonna press Shift D and move it down a bit, and that will be our desk. Maybe we can scale it a bit, make it look a little bit different. Maybe a little bit less thick. And that should be good. Now, what we're going to do is press Shift A again. We're going to start making our ladder. So scale it down. Scale it on the Z axis. And then press S and Shift Z again. Scale it only on these two axes. Alright, that'll be good. I think. Maybe scale it down a little bit again. And yeah. So that's good for that. And then we're going to press Shift A and add a cylinder this time. And scale it down. These are going to be like the little pegs. I think that's what they're called. Right here. But how do we rotate it? What we do is we press R, and then you can kind of see that little white line when you press the middle mouse button, lock it on an axis. We're going to lock it to the Y axis right here. And instead of doing this, because that would be hard to get it perfectly, you can just type 90 on the keyboard. So 90, press Enter, and perfect. Oh, they're not called pegs, they're called rungs, I think, right? Alright. And then we're going to scale it down a little bit. Scale it down a little bit again. And that should be a pretty good rung. Maybe scale it this way. Like that. Move it over. And then we're just going to duplicate it like this. Then we're going to press these two. Remember, Shift, click, and then press these three maybe, and duplicate them like that. And then we're just going to duplicate this. And there's our ladder. And we want, let's move that down. And we want these all to be one object. So we're going to press them all. And then Control J. And now they're all one object. Now if we press R, lock it to the X axis, and we can just press X on our keyboard. Whoa, what happened? Hold on. That's weird. Oh, I know what happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to press right click, set origin, and origin to geometry. And that's this little orange dot. Earlier, it was right down here. And when you rotate it, it would rotate around that. So now that's fixed. We're going to rotate it here. Just a little bit. And that should be just about right. You know what we could do is probably actually scale it down a little bit. Like that. And that should be perfect. Now what we're going to do is, let's see, what do we want to create next? Let's do the chair. We're going to press Shift A, and this time we're going to add a plane. And we want to scale it down just a little bit to around like the size of the base of the chair. And then we're going to press / on your keyboard to completely isolate it from everything else. And tab in the edit mode, go to vertice mode, click these two vertices, press X, and then delete the vertices. Now we just have these two vertices. We will go, we're going to press this button right here, X-ray mode. And what we're going to want to do is select both of these vertices. You can press this X right here. Or a quicker way of doing this, and I don't have a numpad, so we can go to Edit, Preferences, Input, and press Emulate Numpad. And then, if you hover over this, it says Shortcut Numpad 3, so we press 3, and we're in side mode. Now, what we're going to want to do is make a chair-like shape. So we're going to press E to extrude, and then we're going to use middle mouse button to align it here. So as you can see, we have it there. And then we want to start making a curve, so we're going to start with that. Nice curve. And I think most chairs curve inward, kind of right here, and then curve right back out. Okay, and this actually kind of needs to be moved in a little bit. No? Alright, yeah, that should be good. Now you can see, if we go out of X-ray mode, that is way too wide. So we're just going to select all of these, and press G, and lock it to X-axis, and boom, right there. And maybe put these out a little bit, tiny bit more. And that is a good enough chair. Now we're going to go out of edit mode. We're going to go to modifiers. It looks like a little wrench down here. We're going to click add modifier, search, and solidify. Boom, right there. And that'll basically give it thickness. So we're going to make that. And if you think it's going too fast for you, you can press shift while hovering over it, and then you kind of click. Okay, I think we want even thickness. And a little checkbox right there. Alright, perfect. So there it is right there. And I just found out that you can right click on the object out of edit mode and press shade auto smooth. That'll give it a nice smooth look. Now that we have the basic chair part down, we are going to press Shift A, Mesh, and another cylinder. Again, we're going to scale it way down. And continue to scale it till you think it's like the right size. About. Remember, scale Shift Z to lock it to those axes. I still don't know what it's called. And we're going to lock it to the Z axis. Maybe scale it a little bit wider. And put it right there in the middle of our chair. Alright, perfect. Now what you want to do is you want to grab this, you want to go to face select right here. You want to grab this face and extrude it down. Perfect. Ooh, I just remembered something. And now what we're going to want to do to make the leg is press Shift A, Mesh, Cylinder. And there's a little menu right down here, if you can see it. And we want to click that, and we want to make the vertices 6. Okay, and now we can scale it down just until we think it's good. Maybe scale it up a bit, scale it down a bit, scale it up a bit. Yeah, just until you think it's right. Put it right where that chair is. And we're just going to continue to scale it. Maybe a little bit less. Something's wrong about it. I don't know. Whoopsie. Pulled up a menu on accident. Alright, perfect. Now what we're going to do, since we have that shape, we're going to go to face select up here if you don't have that selected. We're going to click this face and press E to extrude. And we're going to left click right there. And perfect. Now what we're going to do is press Alt and left click, and you're going to get all these faces. And next step is a little bit complicated. We're going to press Alt E and then press extrude faces along normals. Never mind, no we're not. We're going to press Alt E and extrude individual faces. My bad, I made a mistake there. And that'll give us kind of like the prongs. You can call them what you want. And then we're just going to do that one more time. Extrude individual faces until we make like a little square. Kind of like that. And we're just going to go around, click these faces real quick. Alt E, extrude individual faces, and down just a little bit. Alright, now that should be good. And now we're going to in order to make the wheels, we're going to press Shift A, Mesh. We're going to press UV Sphere and just scale it down until it's about the size that we need. It should be about perfect. We don't need to make it look too good. You always need to be careful not to make anything look too perfect in 3D modeling, because then it'll look like it's been 3D modeled. Kind of a weird thing how that works. And we're just going to press Shift D. Remember, Shift D to duplicate, make the wheels all around. You can press Shift while you're doing this to make it to where it's a little bit slower when you move it, so it'll give you more specific stuff. Okay, perfect. There's our chair. And remember, we're going to press / to unhide everything. Actually, yeah. Okay, perfect. We're going to press this, and all the wheels real quick. And we're going to press this last. Press Control P and Object. And what that does, it parents it to the object. Whoopsie. I must have did something wrong here. Alright, perfect. Control P, Object, and it parents it to this seat. Remember, select the seat last. We're going to right click, set origin to geometry. And that way it rotates fine, all of it's great. And we're probably just going to scale it up a little bit, move it up. Remember, you can press Shift to do more specific movements. And perfect. We're going to press RZ and rotate a little bit, take away some of that perfectness from 3D modeling. And I think what we are going to do now, let's see. We're going to make the monitor. In order to make that, we're going to press Shift A, Mesh Cube. And right now we're just making the base of the monitor. Like the very base that like the stand is kind of on. So, yeah, very simple for now. Scale it down a little bit. And over time you get more efficient with this scaling stuff. And one thing that I need to teach you is, like, at some point it gets like very hard to zoom, and that can be a problem sometimes when you want to get close to things. So when you have something selected, press View up here and Frame Selected, or numpad period. And boom, that's going to help our zoom. And now what we want to do is kind of like make that actual stand part is we're just going to inset this by pressing I. That's what that is. So press I and drag your mouse till it's about that. Now don't stress out, we're going to go to edge select and press these two, shift select to press them both, and then S, lock it on the X axis. It'll give us that nice square shape. We're going to go back to face select, select this face. We're actually going to move it back a little bit. I think that would be good. And press E to extrude. And perfect. That can be the stand. Maybe press G to move it up a little bit. And yeah, there we go. Now, while we're still in edit mode, so it's a part of the object, we're going to press Shift A and cube. We're going to scale it, make sure to keep it all selected. We're going to scale it, grab it up here. And this will be our screen. So we're going to scale it to be about the right size of the screen. Maybe move it down. And we're actually going to we're going to move it a little bit over here. We're going to take this face right here and move it down. Perfect. All right, now what we're going to do with this face, so it's not just a completely flat thing, we're going to make it, whoopsie, we're going to press Control Z. We don't want to inset it yet. We're going to tab out of edit mode, right click, and actually no, don't right click, press Control A. That's to apply, it says it right there. And we want to apply scale, and that helps with beveling, which is something we'll do later on, and other scaling things. So now we can go into edit mode, select this face, and press I to inset. Perfect. And this is just however big you want the outside bevels to be. And if you're like intermediate level, you can go more deep than what I'm doing. So feel free to do that. And now that we have it insetted, we're going to press E. And we're going to lock it on the Y axis, and this will be our screen. So it's that little bit of extra detail that we need. Alright, now that we have a good monitor, we are going to move on to beveling. So we're going to go to Edge Select up here, and we're going to first select these four edges. And perfect. Now in order to bevel them, give them some curve, we're going to press Control B. Perfect. And right now you can see it's just one side, which is weird. So in order to make that not one side, you can scroll up with the mouse wheel and just however you think is good, and make it however big of a bevel. Do one more, and perfect. Now if you have a less powerful computer, we're definitely going to want to make less segments. And now that we got that beveled, we're going to click these. Actually, no. Maybe we want those to be sharp. Yeah, we'll keep those sharp. Alright, perfect. Now we have the monitor completely done. Now, what I think we can do for the keyboard, I don't want to go too complicated. So all that we're going to do is just press Shift A, cube, scale it down. Whoopsie. Grab it with G, scale it on the Z axis. Nice thin keyboard. Scale it this way, then scale it that way. And now that we have that done, in order to make the keys, we're going to go into edit mode. Whoopsie, I turned my caps lock on. We're going to go into edit mode, press Control R, and in order to make these keys, we're just going to press Control R and scroll up until we think it's about right. And we're going to press left mouse button, and in order to cancel the movement, because it'll give you this like movement thing, just right click, and boom, there you are. And then we are gonna do it again right here. Whoopsie, let me try that again. Alright, perfect. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn X-ray mode on. Here, I already showed you guys that. And we're going to grab all of these edges. So we can press the Z up here, or 7 on your number pad, and just start from this corner and drag select all right there. That's weird. What happened? Maybe just do that. Okay. Well, we're going to do that, and then we're going to go here and press Control, drag select to unselect all of those. And boom, we just have the top selected. We're going to go out of X-ray mode and do something called beveling, which I already showed you guys. Control B to bevel. And we just want one segment. Perfect. Except before we bevel, my bad, Control A and apply scale. Alright, now we're going to bevel. And perfect. But now what we want to do is press Control I to invert selection. Let me go to face select. Oh, no, never mind. We don't want to do that. We're just going to select all of these individually. And now that we have them all selected, except for these 4, which is going to be the space bar, we're going to press E. And boop, just extrude it up just a teeny tiny bit. And then we're going to select all of these and extrude that up on its own. Whoa, whoopsie. Up on its own. Perfect. And now we have a simple keyboard. Now, if you guys want, you could like press like right here and extrude up. You can make it more complicated if you're good at this. If you're more intermediate, I'm doing this for beginners. And that is good for the keyboard. Now for the mouse. Let's see, what are we gonna do? Let's just press Shift A, Mesh, Cube, scale it down. We're gonna make it just a box about the mouse size. Now that won't be the final thing. We're gonna elaborate. We're gonna scale it, move it, drag it right here. And we want to make it look like a mouse. So we're gonna press / to completely isolate it. And we're going to go to vertice select. Actually, we can do edge select. And let's see. We're going to add some loop cuts, so we can really add that mouse shape. Maybe a little bit more than this, like that. Press right click to cancel the movement and just see, yeah. I want this to be a little bit up. And we're just going to scale it until you think it's about right. see, we're going to scale down the front here. Whoopsie. We're going to scale it and just make it a nice mouse shape. Now, this isn't going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. This is just a learning experience to help you get more familiar with the controls and help you learn the controls if you don't know them. So now with that done, we are going to add a loop cut right here. Whoopsie. Loop cut right here. Right click to cancel the movement, and we're going to press these 4 lines, Control B to bevel, and about there, and we're going to extrude it down. Let's see, maybe we want to select those again, grab them, move them a bit down. And while we're still in edit mode, we can press Shift A, UV sphere, scale it all the way down, and kind of bring it over right here. Whoopsie. We're going to scale it to make it like, kind of like a weird oval shape. Scale it down, and we're just going to rotate it. Whoopsie, rotate it on the x-axis a little bit. You can do that with the middle mouse button, or press X, or whichever way you choose. And perfect, that's our mouse. It doesn't look great, doesn't have to look great, it's just a learning experience. Perfect. And we're actually going to add one modifier to that. Remember the tool place, search, and we're going to do the bevel modifier. Now, you can do that to certain places with Control B, but we're also going to we can also do it here. Remember, Control A, scale to make sure it's correct. I'm going to make it like, I don't know, 3 segments. I do wonder why it doesn't want to work. I wonder if we make the angle like 60. No, okay. Yeah, well, that's fine. That's all good. And we're going to keep it beveled. Perfect. Now we want to create the mattress. So in order to do that, we're going to create mesh, cube, and grab it like right here. Scale it nice. We want a nice thick mattress. And here is where the bevel modifier really comes into play, and you'll see in a minute. We're going to put it right in there. We're actually going to go to edit mode and just select this face, because sometimes it's a more efficient way of doing things. We grab this face, move it down. Okay, perfect. And we're going to press Control A, apply scale, and add a modifier, bevel modifier. Oh my, that's a bit much. So we're just going to press Shift while we're hovering over here, and then drag. And perfect. Maybe add one more segment. Okay, perfect. It's a great mattress. And in order to make the pillow, we are going to press Shift A, add yet another cube. Hope this isn't getting boring. Remember, you can pause if you want to, if it helps you follow along better. And we're going to add a modifier called the subdivision surface modifier, also known as subsurf modifier. Whoops, okay. My bad. And we're going to make it like 2 segments. Perfect. And what that does is it makes it like averages certain places. It's very hard to explain. I recommend you go watch a tutorial on it or something. And what we're going to do is we're going to add loop cut right here. Perfect. Whoopsie. Loop cut right here, and make sure to cancel the movement, which I did not do. And while pressing Alt and Shift, we're also going to select this one so that we have them both. Scale them down, and perfect. There's our pillow. And what we can do is shade auto smooth if you want to. And perfect. Maybe scale it up a bit and press R. I think it's Y, yeah. And perfect, there's your pillow. R, Y. Perfect, whoops. I accidentally hit it. G is right next to H. And H is for hiding, okay. Maybe scale a little bit. Yeah, there we go, that's a more juicy pillow. Perfect. And in order to make the blanket, we're going to go back to the mattress. And we are going to press Control R to make a loop cut. And this one we want to be right up here, because that's going to be our blanket. Now what we can do is press Alt and click on that line right there. And that'll give us all of the faces. And then press Shift and press that one. And whoopsie, E, no, Alt E, extrude faces along normals, and if you press S when you do this, that'll make sure that everything, because you can see that there's some lines down there that aren't even. Press S while you're doing this, and it should make them even, more even. So, perfect. Okay. Alright, now as you can see, there's like an ugly little line here. I hope you can fix that. Yeah, there we go. It's ugly line. So you can press, let me get rid of that. You can press Control R right here and kind of move it up to get rid of some of that weird stuff. And maybe we'll press this and move it down a bit. And maybe we'll do the same with this side. It's just whatever you think is a good idea for it. Perfect. And it doesn't look great, but it doesn't have to. See what I'm saying? Okay, we're going to grab this face, move it in a bit. And you know what I think we're going to do? We're going to grab these lines, these two lines, and press Control B to bevel. And maybe make the segments a bit higher, because we want it to be nice and smooth and nice looking. And maybe we'll do it to this one too. So whatever floats your boat. Alright, perfect. So that's it for the bunk bed and the chair and all that. But now we want to add a window. And in order to do that, again, another cube. It's all made of cubes. Oh, and a cool feature I want to show you. If you go to this drop down right here, you can go, there's a lot of options here. You can go to statistics, and that'll show you objects, vertices, edges, faces, triangles, which is great for making games, because you want stuff to be low poly, easier for the game to run. Anyway, we're just going to continue to scale it down to be like a window size, you know. Perfect. There we go. And we're just going to put it in the wall a little bit. It doesn't matter that much. There we go. And now we're going to go to edit mode. Control R to add a loop cut. We're going to make it right there. Whoopsie. My bad. Right there. Remember to press right click to cancel a movement. Make another one right here. And we're going to shift select all of these and press Control B. And remember to scroll down. Perfect. And that's going to be like the segments for the window. So what we can do with those is just extrude them. Perfect. Perfect. And now what we're going to do, yeah, that's good. That's good. And maybe we can go into edit mode and make a cube right here. And it's going to be like the edge for the window. Yeah. The edge of it. Okay, that's a good size. Then we're going to press Shift D. This is all while we're in edit mode, so it's all one object. And now we have that side. Shift D, move it up. And we're going to rotate it on the y-axis. No, rotate it on the x-axis, my bad. And press 90. Type 90 and then press enter. Perfect. Move it down until it's good size. You know what, instead of doing all that, which was good to show you, but one more thing we could do is add a loop cut here, and a loop cut here, and a loop cut here, and lastly a loop cut right here. What we can do is go to face select. We can shift select these two, and then right click, and then go all the way down here to bridge faces. We can do the same here. Bridge faces, perfect. Maybe we think this side is a little bit too low, so we just shift select all of these, move it right up. Perfect. And now we are done with all of this. But one thing left is materials. So we're going to go to material preview. It's up here. And it'll make everything a white color, which is fine. And now we start adding material. Now, there's a lot of tabs down here. The material tab is the little like beach ball looking one. I don't know. That's, yeah, beach ball. And we're going to press new to add a new material. And this is the name right here. We're going to make it, let's see, just room. Because it's just the outer walls. Yeah, walls. My bad. And maybe make it, this is a color, base color right here. Maybe make it like a nice dark blue color. Yeah, perfect. Alright, we obviously want the bed to be wood. So we're going to add a new material, call it wood. And to get a nice brown color, we're going to go down here. Rampantine, yellow, and red, kind of like an orange color. And then make it darker. Maybe change the roughness down here to be a little bit higher, because it's wood. And that's like how reflective it is. So yeah, we're going to make, but we want the same wooden material that's applied to this to be applied to this. So in order to do that, we just go to the little beach ball drop down here and select wood. And we're going to do the same here. Wood. And let's see, I'm thinking for the ladder, we could also just make it wood, or we could add a new material, call it ladder. Maybe we want it to be, whoa, whoopsie, ladder. Maybe we want it to be a little bit lighter of a brown. There we go. That's good. And we're going to add another material for this one, call it bed. And let's see, what color do we want our bed to be? Maybe an orange color. Or no, a nice pastel green. That should be good. And maybe we want the mattress to be a different color. So in order to do that, we're going to go to X-ray mode so we can see it easier. We're just going to select all of these right here. We're going to add the plus. We're going to do the plus button right here. Add a new material. Name it mattress. Make the color maybe just a dark gray. And press assign. And that should be good. And then let's do the monitor real quick. It'll just be, we're gonna name it monitor stand. That's good. Maybe make it a nice dark gray like that. And then if we want to make the screen a different color, we just do what we did. Oops, it's getting hard to zoom in again. So go to view and frame selected or numpad period. And with this face selected, make a new material, and just monitor screen. It's good to keep things organized. That's why we're doing this. Make it a nice dark, very dark color, and make its roughness less because it's a screen. It's more reflective. And click assign. Perfect. There's our monitor. And for the keyboard, we're going to add a new material. Keyboard. And let's say I want the keyboard to be the same color as this mattress. We're going to go here. And this little eyedropper right here will let us do that. So we're going to do that. And maybe we want the mouse to be a nice gray color. Nice gray color. Okay, perfect. And the chair. I'm going to give it a name. Chair. What color do we want the chair to be? We can make it pastel green as well. Or we can make it a nice orange. It's always good to have colors that pop sometimes. And we're going to do chair stand for this part. Make a nice dark color. And then chair wheels for this part and make it even darker. Maybe even a little bit more darker. And we don't want to have to manually put that material on everything. So we're going to start here at this wheel, select all of them, with this one being selected last. Press Control L and link materials. And now they're all the same material. Look at that. Oh, I forgot this post right here. Wood. Okay. And then right here, we can actually give this a chair material. Perfect. All right, for the window. The window's a whole different thing. So what we're going to do with the window is just make window outside. That's going to be the first material. We're going to make it. Maybe we want a wooden color? No. We don't want wood, do we? I don't think we do. If you want wood, you can make it wood. Okay, and now, that's good. But we want to make these 4 faces have a different material. So in order to do that, we're going to press the plus button and then we're going to call it window light. Now, the thing about light is you don't just make the color here. You have to go down to emission, change the color there, make it a nice like yellow color, darker. And change the strength to be something like 15. And perfect. That will be your window. Don't forget to press assign. Now, why isn't it actually giving off light? That is because we're only in material preview, and you guys will see it when we go to rendered view. Now, it doesn't look great right now, and that's because we need to go to this tab right here, go to render engine, press cycles, and if you have a dedicated, it'll go to CPU by default, but if you have a dedicated GPU, you can press GPU compute, and that's only if you go to edit. Whoopsie. Edit, Preferences, System, and go to here. Now since I have an AMD GPU, I go to HIP and press AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT. That's just my GPU. So press your GPU there. And now you can finally see our light. But that's not enough light, so we're going to press Shift A, Light, and Area Light. That's my favorite to use. It's not big, so we're going to go to the Light tab down here, or Data. Go to Power, maybe make it 500. No, too much. 250. Still a bit too much. Let's make it 80. And make this size bigger. And now make that 130. Yeah, there we go. That's good. No, it isn't. Sorry, guys. 250. That's good. And we're going to rotate it a little bit. And move it away. Just till it looks good. Perfect. And it's already looking very good. But I think one thing that we should add is a light right here. So in order to do that, we're going to go to this object mode, turn off X-ray if you have that on, and we're going to work on the light. We're going to press Mesh, Cube, and we want it to be like a strip light, kind of, if you know what I mean. So we're just going to make that perfect. And let's see. I know I want to add something else. We can make it a little bit better by going here. Not rotating, my bad. Extruding. And pressing Alt and left clicking to get this row faces. And then pressing Alt E, extrude along normals. Oh, forgot. Control A, scale. That's why it isn't acting right. Alt E, extrude along normals. S, I think, helps. And there we go. And maybe we can move this up. And now we can go back to Material Preview. We're going to go to Desk Light. Add a new material, Desk Light, name it. And make it like a dark gray. And then go to Edit Mode. Go here, press X-ray. That's what that is. Press numpad 1, or the little negative Y thing, or just Y, whichever one. And you're going to drag select right here. Press New. We're going to do Desk Light. I think Emission would be a good name for that. And we want it to be like a bright color, so just like white where it is. And yeah, right there, white. Make it a good 15. Or maybe 12 or 13, whichever one. Press Assign, and that should be good. We're going to look right here. And we're going to move it to be just perfect. And maybe we can go edit materials. We can edit the material to be a little bit less. Maybe let's turn off X-ray. Maybe select this face. And bring it in a little bit. And that's our desk light. In fact, I'm actually going to make the strength a little bit less. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. So, there's our isometric room. And I did forget one thing. We have to add a wooden floor. So in order to do that, we're just going to click on the walls, / to make it the only thing. We're going to go back to object mode. And we're going to select this face right here. Go into edit mode. We can duplicate it, Then right click to keep it at one place, and then press Control P. No. Shift P? No, P. Yeah, just P, and then press Selection. So now it says Own Object. See, right there. And we're going to go to Edit Mode, select the face, extrude it, and perfect. Now, in order to make the nice wood floor look, we're going to go here, press Control R, add a bunch of loop cuts. Perfect. Hold on, let me redo that. And right there. Press Control B to bevel. Sure, scroll down. And right there. And then you can press Alt E. Extrude faces along normals. But before you do that, again, I forgot. Control A scale. Okay, boom. And now Alt E. Extrude faces along normals, and it should work. But it doesn't. Or maybe it does. Did that work? That worked? Okay. Perfect. Now we have the wood floor. We're going to add the material. We're going to add a material. Press this button right here. No. Press minus. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, just press X. And then press new. Make it floor. And we want a nice brown color for it. That should be good. And we might want to move this a little bit up. And we might want to move this a little bit up. And that is perfect. Now, a few more things left to do. Press Shift A, Mesh, and Plane. And this is going to be our background. We do want a little bit of shadow. We don't want it like, yeah. Anyway, so just scale it up to be nice. Add a new material, call it background. What color do we want? Maybe we want a nice purple. That would be interesting. I think purple goes well with all this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's good. And now what we want to do, we want to add the camera. So we're going to go Shift A and camera. And we're going to press this little thing, toggle camera view or numpad 0 to go to where the camera is. Why is it black? It's probably zoomed in. Maybe it isn't. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to press that again. And we're going to press N on our keyboard. And it will bring up these properties. Now I have a few add-ons turned on, so you might have less. And we're going to go to View and Camera to View. Now when we zoom out, this will zoom out with us. But it doesn't have the effect that we're looking for. Okay, we're going to make that look nice and good. It doesn't have the effect that we're looking for. So first, we're going to go to Output and make the resolution different. Instead of making it 1920 by 1080, we want 1080 by 1080. That'll give us a nice square camera. It's okay if there's some showing because we're going to fix that. We're going to go to Camera. And we're going to go to Type. Remember, this is data mode. We're going to go to Type. And instead of perspective, we want orthographic. And automatically, you can see that made a change. So we're going to change the orthographic scale to maybe be a little bit less. Or a little bit more. And we're going to position that to be good. Well, let me zoom in a bit. Okay. And that should be good. Yep, that's about it. So, in order to render, Now, you don't have to set your render engine to cycles. It can be Eevee as well, which in my opinion doesn't look as good, but if you have a very like potato computer, then feel free to use Eevee, but I'm going to be using cycles and using GPU compute, and my feature set is just supported. So for the render setting right here, we probably want max samples to be just 1080 for you guys, but I'm going to do 4096. And turn on denoise as well as noise threshold. And make it 0.01. It might already be. Now the time limit is interesting because you can make it 5 seconds. And if I were to render, it would stop at 5 seconds. So 5 seconds. And it's done. Oh, what? It did not work. Okay. Oh. Not minimum samples. My bad. Time limit. So then if I were to render 5 seconds through, it would stop. Now that's useful for some things, but we are not going to use that. So yeah. Denoise turned on and noise threshold on. And that should be good. So now all that's left to do is press F12 or go to render and render image. Let's full screen this. And it'll start rendering. And you can do whatever you want. Please post it in the comments because I would like to see your work. And all that's left to do after that is like and subscribe.